5.
This dog boy, pictured, actually had a canine-like father as well. The dad, Adrian, was a bitter drunk and ran from his village and into the woods one day, living in the feral manner a stray dog might. He himself faced mockery and ample shunning, and performed in sideshows to make money, billed as the son of a bear and a peasant woman. After he conceived a child, equally as hairy, they toured together until Adrian unfortunately ended up dying a drunken death. The boy, however, went on to continue performing faithfully under P.T. Barnum's top hat, just as a trained dog might, barking and growling on command. In actuality, he wasn't a dog child, obviously. He had a condition called hypertrichosis, and more than just barking, he could speak English, Russian and German, making him essentially quadrilingual.
4.
This Mexican woman's memory is literally preserved, as she, following her death in the 1860s, was stuffed and put on display the very way she had been while she was alive. She was also born with hypertrichosis. Her features were more characteristic of a gorilla than a dog. Her nose and ears were especially large. Her face was covered with hair, and she had a double pair of teeth which pronounced her mouth as such. She also had a husband named Theodore Lent, who had originally purchased her and taught her to be a performer, and eventually a child of the same affliction, who died after 3 days. She died 5 days after the complications from birth, and her exploitative husband had both her and the baby mummified and placed in a glass cabinet. Very strangely, Lent went on to marry another woman with a similar condition. He was later admitted to a mental hospital.
3.
Born as more of a finger puppet at a weight of 8 ounces and the height of 7 inches, Zarate weighed less than a cat as an adult. She is believed to be the smallest recorded human being on Earth, a fact that had no trouble drawing a big crowd at the circus. When she came to America, she was born in Mexico in 1864. At the age of 12, she was the highest paid dwarf at that time at $20 an hour. Sadly, she died at the age of just 26 when her train got stopped in the Rocky Mountains during a snowstorm.
2.
Some of you may have watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Quasimodo is not fictional, not entirely anyway. Appearing in Victor Hugo's ultimate tale about being a victim of pure disposition, the eponymous Hunchback of Notre Dame may have been inspired by an actual hunchback who lived in Notre Dame. A British researcher found a memoir excerpt that told of a hump-backed stone carver that worked in a cathedral Hugo was very much involved with. Speculation is that he must have come across this rather antisocial individual, given the worker's level of involvement on government commission projects. Nicknamed Le Bossu, it's not hard to see how this individual could have led to some fanciful speculations in Hugo's fertile mind, as this was actually also about the time he was penning the novel.
1.
Not a pleasant thing to be nicknamed. This woman was born with a facial deformity that rendered her simply unpleasant to look at, what some might even call ugly or mole-faced. She was actually billed as the ugliest woman in the world, as if that were an achievement worth aspiring to. In spite of her physical appearance, she was actually a very nice person and was married with a child who didn't inherit the deformity but became a problem drinker and a criminal, which is to say more of a social outcast than her.